What's going on, everyone? It is Zach, and today I wanted to talk about the Sydney regionals that just finished up, especially with this being a week before EUIC. We saw some cool things because this was a smaller regional. There was 320 people signed up, but when you look at the Poke data, it's more of like 280. Just a lot of cool things, and I wanted to talk about the top 10, mostly the top 10 because 10th place is a really interesting team with triple Reggie on it. So if you guys enjoy this, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's keep talking about it. So we're gonna start with do I want to do 10th place first? Do I want to do the winner first? Let's work our way down. Reggie Drago did actually take it here with Hyzunian Zoroark. So this was actually a really cool team. A lot of times they would bait the Urshifu with the Hyzunian Zoroark and using Shadow Ball, and they used it in the finals to take out one shot a lot of Flutter Mains with the Tailwind support and stuff. Also, Encore Whimsicott is pretty good here for like the Raging Bolts and the setup moves and all this and that. So Encore is a really good call here. Interesting, we see a King Gambit, Terra Flying, probably to deal with Trick Room stuff and the Ursalunas, so you don't have to worry about the Headlong Rush or the Earthquake as much, and the safety goggles to deal with Amoonguss. Interestingly enough, you see Ironhead over Sword Stance, which usually, especially how I run my King Gambit, I usually drop Ironhead for the Sword Stance, and this one here does not, probably more reliant on the fact that these Ursaluna comps do usually run Incineroar, so you can work off of that there. And with the Whimsicott here setting up Tailwind, the Hyzunian Zoroark, and Urshifu, like there to soften things up. Rillaboom for support, and then Regidrago is usually there just to clean up. Next up, we got second place team. I'm terrible at these names, so I might not just say them. Just Balance, Raging Bolt, Ogerpon, Hearth Flame, Fire Ogerpon. Pretty standard team here. We see the Flutter Mane with that Thunder Wave and that Icy Wind, that big speed control here, which is really good because you see that like these bulkier Flutter Manes are now opting to be kind of almost more supportive with the Icy Wind and the Thunder Wave, allowing things like the Ogerpon, the Rapid Strike Urshifu to do as much damage as possible. This is a Focus Sash Urshifu. We're seeing more of the Mystic Water, as you'll see later on, but you have the Terra Ghost Incineroar and the leftovers Calm Mind Raging Bolt, which there's some interesting things with the Raging Bolt here. Not the Raging Bolt in general, but just in Sydney overall. Next up, we have the third place team with just Tail Room. So you have the Farigiraf for the Tail Room option, but you also have the Tornadus to use Sunny Day to enable the Incineroar's Flare Blitz, the Ogerpon fires Ivy Cudgel, and then Photosynthesis on the Flutter Mane here. Because you have both Tailwind and Sunny Day, you don't have to worry about your Flutter Mane getting the boost with booster energy, so they run Choice Specs instead. This is the Flutter Mane that is more offensive, tends more towards like the older Flutter Manes, where now we're seeing the Thunder Wave Icy Wind support. This one is the Choice Specs and just wanting to deal a lot of damage with Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, and Power Gem. Covert Cloak here. The items on Tornadus have bounced around a bit. Some of them go Focus Sash, some of them go Covert Cloak. We did see a few Sharp Beaks in this tournament, but Farigiraf just overall with the Ursaluna, so you do have the Trick Room mode as well with the Farigiraf, Ursaluna, Incineroar, and Ogerpon. Just solid team overall. Next up, we see the Cresselia team. Now, we also see a P2 in Top Cut as well, but Cresselia does have some advantages over the P2 itself. One, having Levitate, so you don't have to Terra necessarily to allow your Ursaluna to click that Earthquake right next to it. You have Recovery that not only heals you, but your teammate as well, so that really helps out. I forgot the moves on Incineroar and Amoonguss. Let me fix that real quick. Okay, So we have on this team, we have the Assault Vest Insinuor with the Terror Grass, probably to, you know, not deal with the redirection from Amoonguss and also the Spore. And then you have the Rocky Helmet Amoonguss, which was Terrafire. We've seen Amoonguss lean more towards the Terra Fairy than the Terra Fire, but the Terra Fire, like any defensive Terra on Amoonguss is good. Anytime you can make Amoonguss sit on the field longer is good. And this one does not have, we don't see a lot of Pollen Puff anymore. And that's one thing I've noticed is that people are like, well, I'd rather keep my Amoonguss around longer because Rage Powder and Spore supports just as much as healing the Pokemon. And not to mention you have the healing through Cresselia as well. So you really don't have to worry about having Pollen Puff on Amoonguss as well. But the Rocky Helmet's just overall good just to bait those Urshifus into clicking Surging Strikes into it, are direct Surging Strikes into it through Rage Powder, Terra Steel on the Urshifu, and Taunt. So Taunt is an interesting one here. Having Taunt on the Urshifu rather than Aqua Jet is pretty interesting. I would have to say, in this tournament, we saw a lot of Insinuors carry Taunt, so Urshifu carrying Taunt might be able to stop the Insinuor taunting to allow Cresselia to set up the Trick Room, because this one does not have the Mental Herb attached to it. So that's why I think their Urshifu has Taunt. Totally valid move. A lot of protects over detects in Sydney as well. 5th place, we have the more conventional than the Cresselia. We have the Tail Room here through Tornadus. And this, once again, the Amoonguss has the Protect over the Pollen Puff. So there's less recovery on this team. Recover only working with Porygon, but sometimes that's all you need. The Terra Flying to help it and allow Ursaluna to click Earthquake. And also having a pretty solid Terra Blast here with the Terra Flying against things like Urshifu, and also gets away from that fighting type weakness when going up against Urshifu. This Urshifu is pretty standard besides the Life Orb. We usually don't see Life Orb, so when you look at the Urshifu and Tornadus combination here, this one is a lot more offensive, wanting to deal more damage. So you have the Rain Dance to boost the move, so that's probably their way of avoiding Mystic Water. So you stack the Rain boost with the Life Orb damage just to do really strong Surging Strikes overall. And then also with the Life Orb, your close combat is hitting a little bit harder. So that might not be something that opposing Incineroars are calced for. So that's interesting to see. This one does have Detect. This is one of the few Urshifus that have Detect. But Sharp Beak on the Tornadus, Terra Flying, just really boosting those Bleak Wind Storms. And this one is carrying Protect over something like Taunt, so they want their Tornadus to stick around, and they want it to deal a lot of damage. You do still have the Amoonguss for support, the Incineroar for support, so you have a Fire, Water, Grass, Tornadus core, but then you also have a Trick Room core with Amoonguss, P2, Incin, and Ursaluna. So this has been a pretty standard team. Now in 6th place, we have Fire Ogerpon with Fire Water Grass with Rillaboom, Incineroar, and Urshifu. And then you also just have some good pieces with the Raging Bolt and the Landorus. The Landoruses at Sydney, I believe there were 2 in Top Cut that were carrying Psychic. So it's interesting to me to see why they're carrying Psychic. Maybe they didn't want to deal with the chances to miss with Sandsear Storm. Psychic is still a good move overall, especially if you want to make sure you one-shot those Urshifus that don't Terra out of their fighting type. And I would say maybe they were trying to benefit off of a lot of Psychic terrain, but you need to Terra to benefit off of it to become grounded. This Raging Bolt is interesting. I think this is we see 2 Raging Bolts like this where it's the Calm mindset, but they don't have leftovers. Instead, they go for that booster energy. And I find that interesting that it's kind of a combination of both forms of Raging Bolt, where you have the Thunderclap, Dragon Pulse, but you also have the Calm Mind setup here. You do have Rillaboom for the grassy terrain, so you do have some healing there. But I want to see what are the benefits to running Calm Mind Booster Energy versus Leftovers. This Incineroar here is Rocky Helmet, and you don't see any fire type moves on this Incineroar. I want to say this is because of the Fire Mask Ogerpon. We're seeing a lot more taunts on Incineroar, and this is probably because this team would have a hard time dealing with Trick Room. You do have Protect on half of the Mons, but your essential pieces like Incineroar and Rillaboom do not. So I would have to say Taunt on Incineroar is something we saw a lot with this Sydney as well, which is why I think that one Urshifu had Taunt. So it's interesting to see. Terra Ghost, you don't want to get faked out. So you want to be able to stop the Trick Room, turn one, and just deal like a lot of damage from there. Next up is Jude Lee with the Roaring Moon balance. They play Roaring Moon very often. What I think is really interesting is I saw this set on Showdown, but it is Dragon Dance. So you might get, it might be booster speed, it might be booster attack. Either way, if you don't get a booster on one of their stats, Dragon Dance makes up for that. No Tailwind support from the Roaring Moon here. And so this is just a bulky balanced team as well. You have support for your Fluttermane and your Roaring Moon from things like Fake Out and Incineroar, Fake Out from Iron Hands, Follow Me, and Rage Powder from Ogre's Pawn and Amoonguss. So a lot of role compression here, a lot of role overlap. And so you have redirection, whether it's Amoonguss, whether it is Wellspring Ogerpon, you have Fake Out, whether it's from Iron Hands or whether it's from Incineroar. Helping Hand as well with the Terror Bug on Incineroar. That I find really interesting. So there's probably a lot of calcs that they know that they need Helping Hand for. And so this team is really interesting. Both Incineroar and Iron Hands has a switching move. So they definitely do want to pivot and protect their Roaring Moon. It seems like that is the main thing, with Fluttermane being a little bit of cleanup, being that choice spec set, maybe to take advantage of teams that are running the Sun. You know, you bring out the Sun, you're also boosting my Fluttermane. So that's interesting to see with the Helping Hands Incineroar and the Terra Bug. But Terra Bug is still not a bad Terra in this format, especially on Pokemon like Incineroar. And the Heavy Slam on Iron Hands to deal with opposing Fluttermanes, the Assault Vest, the Terra Water. Just good overall pivoting and coverage for that Roaring Moon and that Fluttermane to be successful. Next up, we got Dimitri. Dimitri is the top cutting size spam team. And so we have the Iron Crown, very standard Iron Crown. Pretty standard team overall, where you have the Iron Crown and the Indeedee to really benefit off of size spam. You have preventing Trick Room with the Indeedee, the Rocky Helmet to deal with Urshifu, and also the Dazzling Gleam to take advantage of that Terra Fairy. Helping Hand as well. No Protect from the Indeedee, so this is a aggressive size spam team here with the Terra Water to help deal with Incineroars. And a lot of Terra Fire we're seeing. Terra Fire is pretty common, especially now in the Urshifus. So Terra Water here, not only are you taking less from Rapid Strike, but if they do Terra into that Terra Fire to get rid of that Psychic type weakness, you have Terra Blast on Iron Crown as well. You also have the Tailwind Rain Dance from this Tornadus, which not only boosts the Urshifu Rapid Strike, which is Choice Band, but it also boosts the Terra Water coming from Iron Crown as well, and then makes Sandsear Storm 100% accurate in the rain. So this team uses the rain, uses the Tailwind, uses the Psychic Terrain really well, and then you just have Ogerpon for that extra damage and that Follow Me support that you would also get from Indeedee. So this team is pretty solid overall as well. Next up, we have the only Assault Vest, Raging Bolt, with Snarl, Thunderbolt, Thunderclap, and Draco Meteor. Draco Meteor is the only time we see it on this set, is because with Assault Vest Raging Bolt, you can switch it in and out. So you are totally okay with clicking a Draco Meteor here because you don't have the booster energy that you don't want to. You want to preserve that boost. We have Dark type Urshifu, the only Dark type we have in the top 10 with the Focus Sash, just dealing a lot of damage. And here we have, once again, we have that bulky Flutter Mane, Icy Wind, Thunder Wave, which pairs really well with the Hisuian Arcanine with Rock Slide. We've seen it came out at the beginning of this second version of Reg F, where you have this Choice Band Arcanine clicking Rock Slide, you have this Flutter Mane clicking Thunder Wave, and you're just trying to paraflinch as much as you can, and that softens it up for the rest of the team to hopefully clean up. You have the Wellspring Ogerpon with the Horn Leech for longevity, also the Follow Me support. You have the Landorus, standard Landorus with the Sandsteer over Psychic, and then just the Raging Bolt to help weaken and chip down with Snarl, and then on the physical side you have Intimidate from Hisuian Arcanine. The Urshifu here is just deal damage, get the most advantage out of that Focus Sash as possible, and deal damage. So the Thunder Wave support, really good on a team like this, because you don't have to be super fast to take advantage. If you can slow down the team with Thunder Wave with Icy Wind, this might allow Urshifu to get 2 full moves off and not rely as much on Sucker Punch with that Focus Sash. And this is the team that I saw. I saw it on stream. And I was like, I want to talk about Sydney Regionals now, because this team is triple Regi. Taking advantage of the Trick Room, but there is also that Tailwind mode and Snowscape on Tornadus, which, if you think about it, building a team like this is pretty good because you have the Rain that wants to support the Urshifu. It also, if you see an Archaludon, you might need to deal with the Rain, and also the Sun. We saw a lot of Sunny Day on Tornadus to help boost those Flutter Manes. So Snowscape here is a way to not only protect and boost up the defense of Regis, but also get rid of your opponent's weather. So this is kind of like running a T-Tar, where like, okay, well, you want rain or you want sun, I'm going to choose the other option. And so in this case, the other option is that Snowscape to bring up snow. You have Regice, which Assault Vest Regice. So that means it's, let's look. Without putting anything into it, its special defense is 320. It is taking all the hits on the special side. Not to mention, if you get up that Snowscape, you're also boosting its physical defense. So this thing can stick on the field for quite a while if you set it up in the right way. It has the Bolt Beam combination here with Icy Wind for speed support, and then the Terra Fire, Terra Blast, which is pretty solid overall. So this really has a little bit for everything. It's got the Ice Beams and the Icy Winds for the Rillabooms and the Landoruses. It's got the Thunderbolt for the Terra Waters and Urshifu. And then if it has to, it has the Terra Fire, Terra Blast to hit things as well. And just taking advantage of that defensive Terra. You're still weak to Rock. So I forget who they got knocked out by. Actually, I think I can look. No, this only shows there was a top cut here that had them in it. They did play a match of top cut, I believe. But you also have the Regidrago with Dragon Energy to deal lots of good damage, the Terra Blast to get that Terra Steel. So if it's probably in this speed tier where if you want to use it in Trick Room, you can use it in Trick Room with that base 80 speed, but also enough where if you want to run it under Tailwind, you can probably do that as well and still deal really good damage with the Regidrago. You have the Cresselia for healing, for longevity. This one doesn't have a lot of redirection, so it goes the Mental Herb to get rid of those taunts and get Trick Room up. Trick Room is very important for this team here with the Registeel and the Regice. But with the Registeel, you see Terra Flying, probably to help you deal with Landoruses, to help you deal with Ursalunas, and you have the Heavy Slam Body Press set. This one, I wonder it did okay in the match that I saw it, but I wondered how they really did well against Ursalunas. Like, I would love to see some more matches from them against an Ursaluna, because a common Terra type on the Flame Herb Ursaluna is the Terra Ghost. So that's probably why you also have Heavy Slam as well. It probably deals well against the Flutter mains, but just a super bulky team with some options like the Tornadus and the Ogerpon to deal a lot of damage. You have the Terra Dark here to prevent any prankster moves going into you. So against those Encore Whimsicots are those prankster taunts, prankster thunder waves, stuff like that. You have that Terra Dark to prevent that from happening. And then you also have taunt yourself. So Tornadus here is more of enabling, and if it sticks around, that helps as well. So really this team is just, you pick your supportive tool. That supportive tool is going to set up the mode you're going to use, and then you're gonna deal damage with your Registeel, your Regidrago, your Regice, and your Fire Mask Ogerpon. I saw this, and one of my favorite parts is when when they got Trick Room up and the Regidrago and the Regice were on the field. Like, the one caster is just like, a second Reggie has just hit the field, which
take a hit from that Dragon Energy, see that come out there as well. So good defensive play to slow things down in the Trick Room.
Yeah, a second Reggie has hit the field. It's so cool to see these Pokemon. We don't see Regice. I don't think I've ever even seen Regice on stream, let alone on stream this week.
If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But I know that there is a team building group somewhere that was watching the Sydney regionals, prepping for EUIC, and they're like, hey, what's our Regice matchup? Do you have one? Because the assault vest on that is crazy. And all of these Regis, they do well in Trick Room. So this is really interesting to see. I really like the Regi team. What was your favorite team in the comments down below? Unfortunately, they didn't win. I was really hoping that they won, but this team that did win with the Hyzerian Zoroark and the Regidrago and the King Gambit and Reg F is really interesting, and it was really cool to see. Granted, this was a smaller regional, but like, they still had to beat 200 some people to be the winner of this tournament. So I just wanted to talk about the Regis. I'm not gonna lie to you. But do you think this changes anything for EUIC? In between, you know, the two Regis, we see a lot of standard stuff. I want to say the Roaring Moon balance is a little bit unique, but you might see that in EUIC as well. But a lot of what we saw was just standard. There were definitely some unique choices. We saw like Terrabug Incineroar, we saw Taunt on Urshifu. But I think this was a cool regional watch. I definitely want to go back and watch the matches I missed. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm just waiting for Pokemon Champions and Pokemon Day. So let me know how it goes. Until next time, I'm Zach, and we'll see everyone later.